Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me yet again. So I survived Tully's Farm Oktoberfest, as you can gather. It was definitely scary. There were some definite moments of me screaming. You couldn't take video footage or photographs because of obvious reasons, really. But they spend so much money on the sets. It really is incredible. So aside from the fun at that weekend, this weekend coming up, I'm going out with my friend Amber to a fancy dress party. You will definitely have lots of photographs, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm going at as of yet. So away from the Halloweeny stuff, let's get on to royal news, and where else to start than the fantastic royal tour, the King and Queen in Australia. They have now just left and they have arrived in Samoa. I will cover that more in the next video. But Australia, yes, they did us proud. I honestly cannot believe the turnout. It was mind-blowing. From the very first moment that the King and Queen got off the plane, and they'd obviously taken a bit of the British weather with them because it was raining at the time, Sydney Opera House lit up with incredible images of all of the visits that the King has done. This was actually his 17th visit to the country and his first as the King. And it's beautiful. Sydney Opera House has done spectacular things over the years, but I thought this was absolutely stunning and beautiful, and it even brought a little bit of a tear to my eye. Now, as for the turnout in Australia, every day it got better and better. The King and Queen basically broke the internet. People talking about how successful Harry and Meghan's tour of Australia was. It's like, take a seat. This was honestly incredible. And Graham Smith, the shouty man, normally dressed in yellow, waving placards with a big megaphone saying, "Not my king, not my king," was definitely crying some salty tears after this visit. The incredible welcome that Australia has put on for both their majesties was completely delightful to watch every single day. Thousands of people queuing up to have an opportunity to meet the King and Queen. There were so many clips and photographs of young girls who have been practicing their curtsies. One of them in particular is one of my followers' daughter, Rochelle, on Twitter. Her little girl got a chance to show off her curtsy in front of the TV crew. Perfectly done. As was another little girl's 4-year-old Georgina Box. She executed her curtsy with absolute grace. She looked like a little princess as she curtsied in front of the King and Queen. 4 years old, she managed to do it no problem. Over the last few days, there has been so much incredible footage. There has been amazing photographs. Chris Jackson is out there, one of my favourite royal photographers, and veteran photographer Arthur Edwards. He got this one of Queen Camilla, almost looking a bit ethereal as she was walking through the Botanic Gardens with Charles in Canberra. The thousands of people that arrived to just have an opportunity to photograph, to film, to luckily enough shake hands with and have chats with the King and Queen was honestly, as I said, it was mind-blowing to watch. And it was very different to the narrative that the British media were trying to push before the King and Queen had set off for Australia. In fact, throughout the tour, they were actually more negative than the Australian media. They were very much trying to push that the King and Queen were being snubbed by all of the premiers of Australia because they're all Republicans, which is true. But I quickly asked the best person I could ask about Australia, and that is Shauna from the Vintage Read, who you guys know that I do a monthly video with. Well, Shauna explained to me they are split up into states. Australia has 6 states. You have got New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia, Victoria, Tasmania, and Queensland. And yes, all of those premiers are Republicans. They did, however, send representatives, with the exception of New South Wales, because Chris Min did actually meet the King and Queen as they arrived. But that was because, explained to me by Shauna, because they'd actually gone to his state. If the King and Queen had an extended Australia tour, they probably would have been met directly by each and every one of those premiers. But I will say, I do find it a little bit rude that they couldn't have stretched just to spend a couple of hours with the King and Queen at the barbecue event that they were invited to, because the King is in ill health. This might have been his 17th trip to the country, but it also might realistically be his last. And the king has paused his cancer treatment, so he was well enough to actually attend Australia. He could have skipped by Australia and just gone to Samoa, really, for the government head of Commonwealth meeting, but he didn't. And I'm glad that he didn't, because the outpouring of love shown by Australians was honestly unbelievable, with the exception of one person. Yes, of course, you've possibly all seen her name now and the photographs of her screeching like a banshee as she was pulled out of the Australian Parliament House. This is Senator Lydia Thorpe.
Our bones, our skulls, our babies, our people. You destroyed our land. Give us a treaty. We want a treaty in this country. You are a genocide. This is not your land. This is not your land. You are not my kids. You are not our kids.
Bearing in mind, she is a senator. She is in a position of power. You don't go screeching and screaming and swearing like a sailor like you belong to Extinction Rebellion when you basically have an opportunity to meet the king. She was invited there. Now, I'm not even going to begin to understand the complications and the history between the Indigenous people and Australia. There are over 500 Indigenous groups and nations in Australia alone. Look at this map. It's completely vast, and of course there are lots of issues there and a lot of horrible history. But again, this is a woman that is a politician. This is quite clearly, obviously, not the sort of behaviour you want to see from someone who is in a position of power, who has lots of constituents and is meant to go in and debate things like this. It was embarrassing, but it wasn't embarrassing for the king and queen. She embarrassed herself. Lots of Indigenous elders have come out and said that it was distastefully done, that she doesn't speak for them. As I said, there's a large number of various Indigenous groups. Not everybody feels the same way as Ms. Thorpe. But you think she would have embarrassed herself enough. She took it one step further. Now, I'm going to show an image here, and I'm just giving you a pre-warning. It is offensive. It shows a cartoon picture of the king with his head decapitated. But this was posted onto her social media account. She then deleted it sometime later, possibly because of the backlash and attention that it got, and she blamed her staff. Apparently a member of staff had posted it without her knowledge. Oh yes, let's just throw other people under the bus, again showing the emotional maturity that she clearly lacks. And as for Ms. Thorpe, that did actually swear her oath so that she could become a senator, by screaming "not my king" and the other things that she screamed, which I won't repeat, I would say that she's in breach of that contract, which means she should lose her job, her salary, and all of the perks that she gets from being a senator that I'm sure she clearly very much enjoys. But let's not talk about her and give her any more attention. Let's talk about someone that did deserve lots of attention and happens to be adorable, cute, and fluffy. Meet the distinguished gentleman that is called Hephner, named after the Playboy legend, who was waiting patiently with his little bow tie and his coronet to meet his majesty. And then he sneezed in the king's face. You've got to love alpacas, but let's all be very grateful he didn't spit. But, as I said, he's a distinguished gentleman. He's used to being around people because he's not just your average alpaca. He's a little bit famous in Canberra, Australia's capital, because not only is he a support animal, he visits nursing homes, businesses, schools, but he's also raised a lot of money for charity. One of those charities in particular is called Dolly's Dream. It was set up by Dolly Everett's parents because sadly at just 14 years old she took her life due to bullying. But the charity does wonderful things. It offers lots of different support for parents that are struggling with their children who are being targeted and bullied, and of course children themselves. If you are interested in reading about Dolly's Dream, this is the website here, and I will also put it in the description where you can make donations if you would like to, or even take part in fundraising. But as for Hephner, he is such a celebrity, he was given special permission to stand on the grounds of the Australian War Memorial to make sure that the meet and greet could happen. Now, we know that the royals absolutely adore animals, whether it's equestrian or four-legged friends, and Prince William is obviously someone we definitely know is an animal lover, but they quite clearly love him a lot back. Prince William was mobbed, I would say, by some very excited furry four-legged fans last week when he attended a crime scene in Cornwall. Now, I will say this about dogs and children, pets in general. They are good barometers for judges of character because they're so innocent, they're so pure, and I will always say, always trust your dog's intuition. The Prince of Wales, also known as the Duke of Cornwall, took a trip to Cornwall to take part in a CSI crime scene investigation training exercise with students who have enrolled at the Military and Protective Services Academy. The programme offers coursework for those considering military and emergency service careers. William, as we know, has had both. He got his wings with the Royal Air Force, and then he spent a number of years working as an ambulance rescue pilot. The Academy teaches mental resilience, physical fitness, and also mental wellness, which are all very important skills needed for not just a career in the military, but of course, emergency services. Whilst there, William also spent time with students from the Stoke Chelmsford College who are involved with the Future Farm programme. The college specialises in land-based degrees such as equine science, agriculture and horticulture, and it also offers a variety of potential career opportunities and apprenticeships, providing much-needed opportunities for young people who grow up in rural areas. Perhaps with his new skills as a crime scene investigator, he can actually look into where Meghan stashed Harry's crown jewels, or for that matter, his integrity, his dignity, his honour and his loyalty, because that's a mystery to many people. But I'm sure, actually, to be fair, after the number of years of attacks that Prince William and the family have had to endure from Harry and, of course, his wife, that Prince William possibly no longer cares. Stories have come out that Harry is now willing to forgive his family. How magnanimous, right? You can feel that in the warm and fuzzies. No, of course you can't. Because as part of the story, Harry's willing to forgive, but mean Prince Willie and evil cold daddy King Charles are blocking him and not taking his calls. Well, good for them. Yes, even the temporary escape from Meghan's claws, Harry pretending he's the old Harry that we all knew and loved when he was in New York for the week and then on to Lesotho, and he's the fun surfer dude. And of course, all of the information we have been continuously drip-fed about the separation, potential divorce, it's a career separation. Nothing has seemed to thaw the ice that is over Kensington and Buckingham Palace. Well, who can honestly blame them? Icing Harry and Meghan out is a good decision because it stops Harry and Meghan from creating drama. Because if the world is very aware that the royal family have cut them off, they're not taking phone calls, they're not seeing them, they're not spending any time with them, Harry's not jetting over and having secret visits with his father, then they also can't peddle the stories of friction behind the scenes, or William's done this, or this has been said. It has cut off their ability to make money from being associated to the royals. If the royals have cut them off, then, well, what are they other than, obviously, attention-seeking D-list celebrities? Now, there's definitely been a real shift with the type of reporting that is coming out about Harry and Meghan since rumours of all is not well in Montecito and their marriage. But I am really beginning to see the blame is definitely just being pointed at Meghan. And I hold my hands up. In the beginning, when she came on the scene and I had all of these red flags, I did blame Meghan, I really did. But Harry and Meghan are both accountable for the war that has been waged against the royal family and all of the hurt and pain that was caused. If anything, Harry is more responsible. Now, of course, it's very obvious that Meghan manipulated Harry. She nurtured the worst traits about him. She watered the seeds. She helped them to grow. But the point is, those seeds were already there. Meghan just found them and watered them. That's what she did. Because she encouraged his bad behaviour, because it created friction, because it caused fallouts with people. Harry had a team of people around him, and I don't mean staff. I mean, he had his brother, he had Catherine, he had his cousins, he had his long-term secretary, Edward Lane Fox, that helped him get the Invictus Games off the ground. Long-term members of staff. Harry had friends from childhood that have protected him, that have covered for him, but these are all a network that were around him. So Harry obviously was prone to having little outbursts, behaving immaturely, but as a family, as a unit, they protected him and kept him in line. Meghan came on the scene. She needed to isolate him away from his friends and family and to tell him, yes, of course you can speak to your staff like they're a pebble in your shoe. You're better than them. Meghan pushed Harry's imperiousness, I would say. The levels of entitlement. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets, as Harry screams at staff. All of the stories that came out in Harry's own words, with staff crying slumped over their desks, they all said, these stories that have come out, even people that work in the media, Arthur Edwards, the veteran royal family photographer, saw a change in Harry where he became nasty, cruel, and just completely unsociable and rude to people. Meghan was pushing this because that's how she treats people. So Harry suddenly saw, oh, I can treat people like this. And of course, if anyone in that circle then tried to protect Harry, to say, slow down, you're changing, this isn't right. Even if they worded it saying that Meghan needs a bit more time to get used to what being a royal is, you know, so she stops actually treating everybody like shit. Harry then had the waterworks turned on. Meghan was bullied. Meghan was a victim. People didn't like her because of racism. And Harry went, as we know, he was like, oh, I'm a knight in shining armour. And he cut off his own friends and family. But when it comes to his attacks on his family, look at the way Meghan has treated her own father. She didn't know the royal family because she never gave them a chance to get to know them. She was very briefly with that family. From the moment she got the ring on the finger, she didn't even spend Christmas or Easter or anything with them. Meghan saw the royal family as nothing more than an opportunity, a platform, so she could get what she wanted, which was fame, money, adulation. So of course she had no problem making up lies and attacking them. I'm sure the royal family don't care if they never hear her name ever again. Emotionally, I don't think they care. But Harry, these are the people that loved him, adored him, looked after him, protected him, and just generally tried to make sure that he was always okay, especially after the death of their mother. People are so quick to just blame Meghan, and it's almost like when an affair happens, you know how they blame the other woman, but it's actually the husband, the one that took the vows, that cheated on the wife. This is a very similar situation that I'm seeing unfold, especially in the media. And the best way that I can explain how I feel about Harry and Meghan and the hurt he's caused his family is this analogy. Harry and Meghan are in a car. Meghan is giving the direction. She's telling him to turn left, to turn right, to go round the roundabout again, to reverse. But Harry is the one that is driving the car that ran over his family repeatedly. It doesn't matter whether they have broken up or not, or whether they're having a trial separation, or whether this is just a big attention-seeking stunt. They're going to stay away and then make a big appearance holding hands, looking more in love than ever, and we'll have it stuffed down our throats for days. It doesn't matter. As I said, Harry is the one that drove that car and reversed over his family and kept doing it and doing it and doing it. So in all honesty, I couldn't blame the royal family if they never ever trusted Harry ever again. So there's lots of stories coming out about they're going to welcome him with open arms if he leaves Meghan. I wouldn't be so sure on that one. So guys, that's it for me on this video. I don't know why I'm swinging, I'm just happy. And I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.